So as I told you a few weeks ago, I am traveling at the moment through the stands. I did the latest episode on the ground was a diary entry from Kiva, and I'm still on this trip, so you didn't get an episode last week, and this week I'm gonna give you a little special that is quicker for me to do than one of the regular episodes. It's something we've done before, also on a road trip, and also recorded in a car. You might hear the sound of the bumpy road as I'm speaking. And I did that with my good friend Cynthia when we were doing a road trip through Saudi Arabia. We're gonna play a game called Would You Rather, and you'll find out what it's about, and feel free to play along wherever you are. And if you want to let me know what you think, if we are totally wrong on some of our decisions, let me know. The last time we made up the questions ourselves, but this time, being in this AI world, we've actually asked ChatGPT to give us some options of would you rather. So, hi Cynthia, and welcome back to another Would You Rather.
We've done 4 countries this trip, of ones ending in the initials STAN.
Yeah.
There are technically 7 UN countries that end with the letters STAN in English.
Yeah, and Stan, I believe, basically just means country or
land.
Land.
It means land.
Okay, yeah.
So we could call it Switzerland.
Yeah, so we started in Uzbekistan, and then we had a wonderful full-day trip to Tajikistan, flew up to Kazakhstan, and drove. That's where we got the rental car we're in right now, and drove out to the beautiful canyons in the eastern part of the country. Actually, we were very close to the Chinese border.
Shockingly close when we looked at a map.
Yeah, and then we crossed the border yesterday to Kirgizstan, and that's where we are now. And that is your country number 140. That's
Hence
why
the t-shirt.
You are wearing a t-shirt where it says 140.
Shout out to my friend Robert who made the tea for me.
Yeah, and this is my UN nation number 124, which is also kind of an interesting number for me, because when I started my journey 8 years ago, I'd been to 23 countries, so this will make it exactly 100 countries on this trip, but 124 in total for me. So still traveling and still gotta keep moving. Welcome to the Radio Vagabond and another Would You Rather.
Meet Paula Bow on an epic journey around the world. This is the Radio Vagabond.
Now, ChatGPT has given us some cool questions. So, would you rather hike the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu in Peru or Torres del Paine circuit in Chile? So both spectacular locations in South America.
Yeah, well, I've been to Machu Picchu. I didn't hike the Inca Trail. And I have not been to the southern part of Chile, so I guess I would say to see something new, I would do the one in Chile, even though I don't know much about it.
So I've not hiked either trail, but I have been on parts of both trails, and I have stayed a couple of weeks in the area of the southernmost part of South America, which they blend together southern Chile and southern Argentina, and they call it Patagonia.
Yeah.
And I spent extensive time down there and about 3 days up at Machu Picchu in Peru. They are totally different experiences, but I love big mountains. Right now we are driving next to glaciers and snow-capped mountains, and it's the middle of summer here. And it's just beautiful weather. And so I'm really into big mountains, and Patagonia in the tip of South America, they are just spectacular. They're just, wow, spectacular. And very, very few tourists. Yeah. So I would say Torres del Paine in Chile although Machu Picchu is also spectacular.
Yeah, Chile is definitely one of those countries I really want to go back to, because when I think I was there 4 or 5 days as a part of a trip from Bolivia up to Peru. So I was only touching the northern part of this long country. So it's one of those places where I really promised myself I gotta come back, and I really need to get down to the southern part.
Chile is really unusual. It's incredibly long and skinny, but it is never more than 100 miles wide
Yeah.
at any one point. It's very rare
Yeah,
for a big
yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's see what chat has for us next. Chat says, would you rather take a hot air balloon ride over Cappadocia in Turkey, or watch the northern lights from a glass igloo in Finland?
Okay, you go first with this one.
Wow, these are tough choices. I have not done either. If I had to choose, though, I could take hot air balloon rides in a number of places.
I think
seeing
the
something
place
from a
in
glass
Turkey
igloo-
is where you would see hundreds of hot air balloons at the same time, and they have these festivals.
And it's very rare to get hundreds of them going up every day. It's
I don't
maybe
think
the only place in the world that you can
Do
go
they
up every
do
day.
that every day?
Oh, yeah, there's
Oh, wow.
multiple ones going up every day.
Oh.
Maybe not hundreds.
No, but wow. I thought that was only a part of a festival once a year, maybe, or something. Okay.
So if I had to pick, and it would be a tough choice, but I think part of it was Northern Lights from a glass igloo in Finland. That seemed like a really amazing opportunity. I'm in a glass igloo, which I've never been in, and I'm seeing Northern Lights, and I'm in Finland. That seems really like once in a lifetime kind of thing.
Yeah. I really want to do both, too. I've done hot air ballooning a couple of times in Denmark, and over the temples at Angkor Wat in Cambodia, and then over Masai Mara in Kenya. I haven't done the one in Turkey. I really want to do that. But being from the northern part of Europe, I've never seen the Northern Light. It's not something we get in Denmark. Well, there was one a year ago, in fact, in my hometown, which was, I've lived there most of my life, and I've never seen it. It's never been seen in Denmark, but apparently it was very far south last year. I've been
About a month ago, it got all the way down to Florida in the United States.
No way.
Most of North America had Northern Lights.
Whoa.
It was extremely
Yeah.
rare in Florida, in
And
southern United States.
I've missed it by a hair when I was in Greenland at some point. I've been to Greenland twice, and on my second trip I was in Nuuk, and I just had dinner with my friend who lives there, and because of the time difference, I was tired at 9 o'clock at night, so I thought, well, let me go to bed. And the next morning I saw on my phone that he sent a message at 9:30 saying, "The Northern Light is here, get outside now." And I said, "God damn you, Klaus.
You should have banged on the door.
You should call me and keep it ringing until, it was just that one night. It never came back. I've been to the northern part of Norway, where they also get the Northern Lights, but not while I was there. So I have never seen it, and I so want to see it. And being at that, what was it called? The
Glass igloo.
glass igloo in Finland, and seeing the Northern Lights seems like a wow for me. Yeah,
Alright.
that's the one I would choose.
So let's move to a very warm climate from that question. Would you rather camp under the stars at Wadi Rum Desert in Jordan, or in the Sahara Desert in Morocco? So camp under the stars in Jordan, or camp under the stars in the Sahara in Morocco?
Yeah, it's my turn. So I would say Jordan.
For a particular reason, or...
I was in Jordan as a part of a cruise at some point. Went to Petra, and that again was one of those places where I promised myself I want to come back and explore more. There was something about the people, I think, and I just had a very, very good feeling about Jordan, and camping and seeing the stars. Yeah, we just passed a a donkey carriage. That's something. Yeah, I would go for Jordan.
I would as well. I was in Agapa in the very south. I was near to Wadi Rum, but didn't get to stay overnight there. Definitely would like to go hike and stay overnight there, and obviously went to Petra. But I would definitely go back to Jordan. A spectacular country and a lot to offer, I think.
Yeah. Let us know what you feel. Are we wrong about choosing Jordan? Are we missing something with the Sahara Desert? Please let us know in the comment section, either on YouTube or on the Facebook page. I would love to hear from you. But we have time for more. We'll be right back. This episode is brought to you in part by Hotels25.com. It's a website that helps you find the best prices on hotels and guest houses and hostels around the world.
Hotels25.com.
Okay, that was the first 3. I think we have time for 3 or 4 more. So hit me with another would you rather.
Alrighty, ChatGPT challenges us with, would you rather attend Rio Carnival in Brazil or the Holi Festival of Colours in India? Is it my time to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I have a feeling what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, you are not a big fan of India.
I'm not a big fan of India.
I think you would go for the carnival.
And I'm not a big fan of people throwing stuff at me and getting shot with stuff. Really not a fan. So I just went to the 3rd largest carnival in the world. They actually call it Carnival. So Rio is the largest in the world. 2nd largest is in the United States. It's Mardi Gras in the city of New Orleans in the state of Louisiana.
Does that qualify as a carnival?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have costumes and music and parades and hundreds of floats and 1 million people.
Yeah.
The 3rd largest is on a little island called Trinidad in the country of Trinidad and Tobago, quite close to South America, and I was just there for Carnival. It was spectacular. Shout out to my friend Danella who made it really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I have not actually done Rio for Carnival. I've been in Rio, but I would definitely pick Rio, and I would like that experience. I'm going to try and pick up more festivals in the next couple of years in my travels. I'm actually going to try and plan some of my trips around hitting festivals.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
I would love to go to Rio. In fact, I had the opportunity this year. I was in Buenos Aires after the Nomad Cruise, and some of my Nomad Cruise friends, they actually got on a plane and spent a few days in Rio for the carnival. I was busy and I didn't have the money for it. It was quite expensive, and accommodation is hard to get unless you book it far in advance. So I thought, let me do that another time. I really want to do it, but the Color Festival in India, I've seen some videos and footage of that, even though it's hectic, and I simply would love to experience that. So I would go for that one. Why would you not pick the Color Festival in India?
I really don't like people shooting stuff at me and they cover you with stuff. Not really into that. Like my personal space. Also not particularly interested in returning to northern India. I would go to southern India. I spent 5 weeks in northern India in 2009. Did an extensive tour, flew point to point to cover what is obviously a massive place. I actually call it the Indian continent, and I only did the northern half of the country in 5 weeks. So I have seen it. I have seen the Taj Mahal. I've seen the Black Taj Mahal. I've flown up into the Himalayas and stayed up in the Himalayas. I've been to Varanasi, with the famous river that people bathe in, and I've experienced India, but I don't have a particular desire to go back to North India. I would only go back to South India.
Yeah, I've only done Mumbai for a week, and I don't feel a need to go back to Mumbai. I'm glad I went, but
Once was enough.
I want to see so much more of India. I know that it's totally over the top, and people say that either you hate it or you love it, and
Correct.
yeah,
There's no gray about it.
no.
Nobody says, this was okay.
And there's no gray about the color festival.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah, and
Maybe I would really like
and the
it.
videos I would get from that, it was, yeah, I'd go for that, even though I get sprayed with all kinds of things.
Would you rather visit the Pyramids of Giza in Egypt or the Moai statues on Easter Island in Chile?
Easy.
Is that easy?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Well, because I've been to Egypt, I've seen the pyramids, so
it's because you've had one.
yeah, because I've already done that, and I
If you
really want to see the statues in Easter Island.
Alrighty, I'm in the same boat. I've done Egypt. I've done 2 trips to Egypt and would like to go back, by the way, which is unusual. A lot of people think the hassle factor in Egypt is...
Yeah, the hassle,
big.
it was and very pushy and very skilled people selling anything from a picture with a camel or magnets or all kinds of things. They're so pushy, and that took away a lot of the experience. But being there...
Was that only in Cairo, or did you find that in the south? Down in Alexandria?
I was only in Cairo.
I think you'll find the middle of the country and the south to be quite different. My first trip I did actually from the Mediterranean. It's about 13 hours driving distance down to Cairo.
Yeah.
And that was my first trip. That was 28 years ago. Wow, I know that, oddly. I turned 30 on that trip, to give you a number. That's why I know. And how cool to get to go to Egypt around my 30th birthday. And then when I went just a few years ago, I went to the middle part of the country, which is quite different. You're down on the Nile, and they do have tourists because the temples at Luxor and the famous tombs are all there, but it has a very different feel from Cairo. And I want to do the very far south. I'd actually like to do a Nile cruise. It takes 3 or 4 days, but you basically are just sleeping on the boat. It's not very far. So I would go back there, and so for me, it's the same. I want to go out to Easter Island, but that's because I've done Cairo. If I were speaking to someone who had never done either, I would tell them to go see the pyramids.
Okay.
It's just one of those things that everyone who has any chance of going just to see something that you just go, wow, wow.
And I've seen them before in pictures. I know what they look like, but being there was surreal. Just the scale of them it's unbelievable.
The trip I took when I was around 30, we actually were not in the view of the pyramids. We hadn't seen them yet, and we specifically boarded camels out of the view of the pyramids, and then we came around a cliff and was on the back of a camel when I got my first views of the pyramids. So talk about an experience. That was just a wow experience. And so it's been a very long time, but I still have a funny story about those camels. We were warned in advance that the camel drivers there, you pay only $1 to ride the camel. So very, very cheap by US standards. And of course, they're very tall there. They're huge camels there. So you get on the camel and you ride, and then they bring you back to the stable area to, return you to the starting point. And they won't let you off the camel unless you give them another $1. But we had been warned in advance, so we had exact change. And so we gave them another $1 and they let us off the camels. Can't make this stuff up. Only travel do you get those kind of stories.
I was in Cairo and was at the pyramids and at the big museum 2 days before lockdown at the COVID pandemic. So in March 2020, and from there I went to Cape Town and was there 24 hours when the whole world shut down and the biggest lockdown on the March the 12th, 2020. So I also know specifically when I was there.
Yeah, we've got to do this one because it ties to the trip we took right before we came to Central Asia, our last trip, which was a year ago, but it was our last trip together. Ties to that one. So would you rather explore the fjords of New Zealand or the Scottish Highlands? I think we're going to agree on this one.
I think so too.
Should we say it together?
Yeah. New
Zealand!
Yeah. Because we did that when we did the cruise from Australia to New Zealand. And our first view of New Zealand was in the sounds, as they call the fjords. For some reason, they call them sounds. We didn't get to go on land, but the big cruise ship went into 3 of these sounds and started with the biggest one.
Yes, the sounds are really unusual there. 2 out of the 3 that we were in are only accessible by water, and all 3 are quite famous. There is one you can get to overland, but it's an extremely long and difficult drive from kind of anywhere. People do it. There's a teeny village that you can stay at when you get down to the sound, and then you take a local boat to tour in the sound. We got incredibly lucky with the weather. Got to go through all 3, had beautiful views, hundreds, maybe 1,000 waterfalls.
Yeah.
And as we left, I can't remember if it was the 2nd or the 3rd fjord, but we were obviously out in the Tasman Sea, and there was what I would call a wall of water. I mean, I could see it. I was out on deck 13 hours that day. I never went inside unless I needed caffeine or a bathroom break. And so I saw this wall of water coming, and it literally looked like when you drive your car into a car wash, except it was dark gray water as high as you could see and all the way down to the sea. It was weird. So we got incredibly lucky with the weather, and they were spectacular. And I've never had quite an experience like it.
We started in Milford Sound, the biggest one.
Was it? Okay.
I think so.
I can't remember.
And then we went into Dusky Sound.
Dusky.
And then the one they call Doubtful Sound. And
because they didn't think it existed.
Yeah, I think it was Captain Cook that said, that's doubtful. And then it just became Doubtful Sound. It was a great day. You were sitting on deck of the cruise ship for 10 hours that day.
I thought it was longer than that.
I walked a little bit around, but you were literally just parked there.
Trying to take it all in, which was hard to do.
That was so spectacular. But having said that, I don't want to put down the Scottish Highland because that's stunning as well. I've been to Scotland a lot. I don't know if it actually qualifies as the Scottish Highlands. I've only been as far north as Glasgow.
Did you go look for the Loch Ness Monster?
Oh yeah, I was at the Loch Ness and looked for Nessie.
Did you see her?
Yeah. She was there. Yeah.
Oh, you got lucky. I didn't see her.
I forgot my camera that day though. But
that's a shame.
Yeah. I think we can do one more. Just the last one before we wrap it up.
Let's see. Alrighty, here's a train one. ChatGPT says, would you rather take a scenic train ride through the Swiss Alps or the Rocky Mountains in Canada? Is it my turn to go first?
Yeah.
Alright, those would be difficult for me. I have done train trips in the Swiss Alps on 2 different trips. Not long distance, like multi-day, but more like one day to go sightseeing. I've not done a train in the Rocky Mountains because I always want to rent a car and do hiking trips in the Rockies. Wow, that would be tough for me because I really love the Canadian Rocky Mountains. I just helped my brother plan a trip there last month, and he had a spectacular time. But if I had to choose, wow. I think the Swiss mountains are maybe just a teeny bit more impressive than the Rocky Mountains, although it is a close call for me. But if I had to choose, Switzerland.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I would go for the Rocky Mountains because I haven't been to the Canadian Rocky Mountains, and I've been to Switzerland, and they are impressive. But me being from Europe, it would be a little bit more exotic for me to do an epic train ride in the Rocky Mountains in Canada. Yeah. But as you say, it's a close call. I love train rides, and we did one in Australia as well, up to the Three Sisters. What was the mountain range called?
So that was Queen Elizabeth Point?
Yeah, that was the viewing point.
The Blue Mountains.
Yeah, the Blue Mountains.
That was what it was, yes.
Yeah. And I've done a scenic train ride, the classic blue train in Sri Lanka, where you hang out of the door, totally unsafe, but it's this old train, and it's probably one of the most scenic train rides in the world in Sri Lanka. So I love train rides, and I so want to do more, it's a good way of traveling, I think. And with that, this wraps up another edition of Would You Rather on a road trip with my good friend Cynthia Globe. Follow her on Instagram and Facebook or whatever. And let's see where we're gonna do 3.0 of this. And remember, I'd love to hear from you if you have any thoughts on the things that we've talked about. If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, let us know in the comment section on YouTube or on Facebook. You'll just search for the Radio Vagabond and you will find this. So, ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
My name's Palabo, and I gotta keep moving. See ya.